Okay, I think we're live. Just a moment. Okay, I believe we're live. Let me click this real quick. Just a moment. Yeah, okay. So, hello everyone. I still need to connect to our friends. I'm running a bit late here. Just a moment. I gotta literally start calling up fellow YouTube friends. Alright, so let's see. I should probably message them. So if I'm on call with that, how do I? That's something I should have figured out way before I went live, huh? We're gonna be talking about Benin art, by the way, folks at home, if you're already watching.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Hello, Ken.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry that we're running a little late. I mean, technically we're right on time. It's 2 o'clock, but yeah, the audience should already be able to hear and see us. I will double check on that in a bit. Um, but yeah, technically I've been live for a minute and 30 seconds. I mean, it's not that big of a deal because like I've seen live streams that take a long 10 minutes to like actually start, and they'll have like a loading screen just doing absolutely jack. I should probably not swear in the first few minutes, so let me stop myself there. YouTube censorship, man, so annoying. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the audience should be able to hear you. I'm gonna call Jabari. I don't know if how exactly it works to have like multiple people. You can still hear me, right, Ken? Ken? Ken, can you still hear me? Sorry, Ken, did I hang up on you by accident?
Yeah, it looks like you did.
Damn it! How do we get the others involved at this in the same call? We really should have figured. Okay, I'm sorry, folks at home, if you're already watching. Technical difficulties. Um, there should be some kind of option. I might just ask Jabari himself. He probably knows. He does live streaming. Um,
I'm looking around and I'm not seeing much.
yeah, I haven't. Oh, I need to. Mm, well, there's a lot of yeah. So for you folks at home, we did do a bit of a practice test earlier, but we only checked of we only checked one-to-one call. We didn't do the whole group. We're trying to get multiple people involved in this chat. Alright, yeah, so Jabari says that there's an add people button I should be looking for. I'm going to see if I can find that. Um, hmm. What on earth? I don't. I don't see it.
The Barridos made a group,
Oh, okay.
so maybe we'll just call in that group.
Yeah, yeah, that's. Okay, so everyone's in the group. So I think we just click the start call thing, probably. So I'm gonna end the call with you, Ken, so that we can start this group call.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Thank God for Jabari.
All right.
Okay. So everyone say something so that we can know that we're connected.
Something.
Something.
Mm-hmm. Shamari.
You didn't hear me? Something. You
Yeah,
said
we
something.
heard you.
I heard you, Jabari. I
Oh,
didn't hear the wandering griot, Shamari.
oh,
He might be having some technical difficulties with his microphone, perhaps.
he's mute. He's muted. You can see the icon.
Yeah, you didn't. I definitely see that mute on. That's definitely an issue. So in the
Are you hearing
in the
Griot?
what?
I'm asking Griot if you can hear us. If you can hear us, type something.
All right. In the meantime, where is thing I'm looking for? Uh, I have to reload this. I want to double check to make sure that yes, the audience can hear us all. It should be. Yeah, it says we're live. Um, Again, folks, if you're watching currently, a bit of technical difficulties, but it's how live streams go sometimes, especially live stream from. Only one of us has done this on a regular basis, which is Jabari. The rest of us, we don't exactly live stream very often. But I figured I'd do this because I want to have fun talking Africa with some friends. Because that's the thing. When you're just doing YouTube stuff on your own, it's kind of isolating. But like, and there's a big difference between preparing a very well prepared research script for a YouTube video, whereas just talking to people and having a friendly conversation about Africa is a much different vibe, and that's kind of why I wanted to do this.
What platform are you streaming on?
What's that? Oh, I'm
I said, what
streaming on
platform are you?
YouTube. I
Because I'm not seeing it.
what,
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either. I just went to check. I'm not seeing it.
you're not seeing on my huh?
No.
No,
Strange.
All I'm seeing is African architecture and more from 1 year ago.
same.
That's odd. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to. All right, I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna
You
send
you
it.
know you know when you sorry to interrupt, but you know when you go live on OBS, that's not enough, right? When you stream on YouTube, you have to go live on OBS and then go live on YouTube. The same place where you upload the video, the little create button, you have to click that plus. You have to click that create button and then click the go live button.
Hmm.
And then once you get to that screen, there's another like go live button that you have to click.
Okay, I might. Well, first try clicking that thing I sent you. I sent it on the Discord. The link.
Hey guys, can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
can't see
Yeah,
it
we
here,
can
but it's
finally hear
unlisted.
you. Awesome. All right.
It's unlisted. That's why.
Okay.
Oh, it's unlisted. Oh, okay. So the audience hasn't
Yeah.
started hearing us yet. Okay, good to know. I'll fix that in a
Okay,
bit.
that's good.
It might be a good thing since we're still kind of prepping. Well, though we're late. Shit. Uh, but yeah, it's good. Shamari, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, that's correct, Shamari.
Okay, cool. All right. So I am now.
So,
I am now
so
late.
everybody else is
I,
from America.
I'm from America. Jabari's from America. Shamari, are you from America?
Yeah, I'm also from America.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Jamaica.
All right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's so Eastern time zones, right? So,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
only 1 hour behind us.
oh, daylight savings. I assume no daylight savings.
No, we don't do daylight savings.
Got it.
Just
Yeah, daylight savings
GMT
bullshit.
-5.
So you'll be in the same time zone in about a month or two.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Do
So,
I need to click this as well, or are we good? Stream can be accessed again from manage. I don't know if we might be live. We might be live right now. I'm not sure. Can you guys go into the YouTube? All right, try clicking that YouTube link I sent you guys again, and then
Yeah,
type.
we're live.
Okay.
yeah, we're live.
All right. Cool. Cool. Cool.
I'm going to share it on my own channel now.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is a multi YouTube live stream featuring Red Spirit Mask, myself, and oh, that's rude of me to introduce myself first. Jabari from the From Nothing channel. I'm slurring my words here. Ken Kwame, the Wandering Griot, uh, who and his name is Shamari. Uh, because we're going to be referring to him by Shamar because it's a bit of a mouthful to say the Wandering Griot over and over again. uh, but yeah, all wonderful channels. Subscribe to them if you haven't already. What we're doing today, hopefully I'm not being too loud. Sorry, I'm trying to project my voice even though I probably don't need to. What we're doing today is we're going to be talking about and looking through the British Museum, and we're going to look at a bunch of the art that they stole from Nigeria. Now, chances are, see, the thing is, they stole a nation's worth of artwork, so the likelihood of us actually getting through all of this today, kind of minimal. But we're going to look through what we can. We'll keep going until my feet are about to die, because I'm standing, and doing standing computing can get tiring after a while. Alright. Let's see. Oh, and yeah, now that I've said everything, guys, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Uh, I guess I'll go first. Well, you've already kind of introduced me, but I'm Jabari from the YouTube channel From Nothing, and I do African history content. Basically, in a manner that doesn't focus on all the negatives and really more on the positive and interesting things, rather than the usual slavery, colonialism, whang narrative. So,
Yeah, so I'm Ken, aka Ken Kwame. I'm probably definitely the only Jamaican here. I oh
All right, go ahead.
yeah, so my YouTube channel Ken Kwame Writes is about the art of storytelling, and I try to focus on social issues and specifically, telling Black stories and stories of other marginalized people. So yeah.
Shamari, I'm from the YouTube channel The Wandering Grill, and unfortunately, Ken, you're not the only Jamaican here. I'm also Jamaican.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. So my YouTube channel focuses on fantasy, specifically focused through like African culture and history, and I just try to highlight the African cultural influences in the fantasy genre.
All right, fantastic. So with that, I'd sort of said this pre-stream, but maybe I'll say it again right now. Is although most of us, all of us really, we mostly focus on pre-recorded scripted videos. This is a live stream. A lot of what we're going to be saying is off the top of the dome, so um, it, just keep that in mind. Like if me or Jabari makes a little mistake today, we're not like we don't have a script in front of us. Um, but yeah, I invited my friends here today because I thought this would be a really nice casual conversation about Africa. Uh, so yeah, without further ado, let's start looking at the stuff that the British stole from Nigeria, right? So this is alphabetized. So the first got this Adiri cloth. They even stole the shirts off their backs.
Hmm.
um, Yeah, and we can. I think I can click into this without causing an issue. Let me double check the live stream to see how that looks. Yeah. So just so you know, folks at home, the live stream might be a little delayed. But then again, so is our voices, right? So it should be fine. It probably won't affect you. But yeah, you can see all this nice detail here. Um, Now, Ken, me and you were talking the other day about these adsies. Isn't it kind of funny? Me and Ken might try to do another video in the future about the new Wakanda animation. What was it called again, Ken? Was it?
Eyes of Wakanda.
Yeah, Eyes of Wakanda. So in the final episode, they have one of these adsies as a pivotal item, and they keep calling it an axe. And that just annoyed the crap out of me, because an adsie is an English word. Like, maybe I'm being too pessimistic here, but it feels like Disney doesn't respect the intelligence of their audience. Just call it a fucking adsie, you know? But the difference, if y'all are wondering, so they are kind of similar, an axe and an adze, but with an adze, the blade is horizontal, whereas the axe, the blade is vertical. But it's got a name. It's like you don't just call a sword a knife, or I mean you can, but why? You know?
Is
I think it's because most people don't really know what an adze is. It's not something that we're familiar with in the 21st century. We're familiar with axes, we're familiar with swords, we're familiar with knives, but adzes they're not really in a typical Westerner's garage, So that's probably
and
why.
Yes,
isn't it?
that's true. But like, we
Is it
might
also
as
like a
well teach
subsection
them.
of axe?
Like, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to speak over
No,
you.
I'm saying, is it? That's okay. Is it a subsection of axe? Like like you have long sword, great sword. Like, isn't
I
like
don't.
a type, like a specialized axe? Axe?
Maybe you can make that argument. I suppose it's possible, but when I've seen it in books and in museums, it's always called an adze. I've never seen it referred to as an axe.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, my opinion is if they just called it an adze in the show, like the audience would get it in their head. Oh, that object is called an adze, and maybe some people will look it up online. Lazier people won't, but whatever. Uh, Even entertainment can teach. You know, is my
Yeah.
point. So,
Someone just said for the record that adze is just one syllable. The e is silent, so that'd be ads,
oh,
which
you know what? I
they
think.
could actually have a similar etymology,
Mm,
and actually, the non-socketed axes that are coming throughout Africa, where they more or less just hammer the blade into the wood, um, that some of those were made in a manner to where you could just rotate the blade and convert it into an axe or an adze at will,
that's
depending on
that's a
the
good
Mm.
point.
task.
That's a good point.
That's interesting.
Um, So yeah, thank you for whoever mentioned that. I can probably just look. Hold on, right? Oh, it's Soma. Hey, Soma. We love Soma here. He's a good guy. All right. Um. Where was I? I have so many tabs open. It's nuts. Uh. Should have shut off some of these tabs, but anyway, whatever.
Welcome to being a YouTuber.
Yeah. All right. So moving on from yeah, I think we had a nice little discussion about the ads. If we takes too long on everything, we'll never get anywhere here. Because, like, on the bottom here, you might see it says 5 pages. There's more than that. There's a lot more. Again, this is a whole nation's worth of stuff that Britain stole. And this is just one kingdom they stole. Britain stole from all sorts of fucking places in Africa. I really got, I really gotta try to not swear so much. But when I get passionate about what I'm talking about, the swears just come out naturally. But YouTube's gonna kick my ass and say, "Oh, this is no longer safe for everyone." So,
Oh, you said the A word.
hmm? Well, what? Oh, I didn't even realize. I must. Okay, didn't even realize. um. So yeah, so here we got some altars. These are really cool looking.
Mm. Well,
Um,
before we move on, what is the adire?
Ad-
What exactly is that?
Adiri, where did you see that?
The cloth, just just
Oh,
just normal clothes.
so again, this might be in one of my books. I can't speak on the to too much specifics about it. What I can say is in eastern Nigeria, uh, indigo dyed cloth is a very I don't know if common is the right word, but it's a very traditional thing, very
Mm.
highly valued thing. The Igbo also do this. There are various connections throughout various Nigerian cultures, especially Eastern Nigeria. But even like you might even see here, even though we looked up, okay, so we looked up Benin. You see our key term. We looked up Benin, but some of these it actually says made by Yoruba. So this was probably stolen by the Yoruba. I mean, you know what I meant. The British probably stole those from the Yoruba. Slip of the tongue. Slip of the tongue. Anyway,
They're also they're also neighboring kingdoms and culturally intertwined. So it's possible a lot of the stuff could there could be a lot of overlap.
that's very true, Jabari. That's very true. Um, One other thing I wanted to say before we started, it doesn't matter that much, but I did scroll through some of these some time ago. Uh, from what I can tell, there was a couple of modern things that they must have bought later, but not like 90%, maybe probably more than 90% of the stuff we're gonna see today was stolen. All right, just so you know. But yes, occasionally museums do actually buy shit legitimately. That does happen too. Not everything is ill-gotten gains, but a lot of it is. Uh, so, moving back to the altars, and of course this altar right here that I put in the thumbnail. I think I'm not sure, but the Benin might have more than one type of altar because my one of my books here, The Royal Arts of Africa, highlights two, and I'm not sure if that was intended to say that there are two different types. Um, but if I remember correctly, so with the Benin and the Igbo and some of their other neighbors, they have these altars called an altar to the hand, your hand specifically, and it's like you make off. The short term of it is that you make offerings on these altars to in hopes to attain something, or like you know I I'm making an offering to my altar so that I can graduate from college or something like that, you know.
Mm.
So that's a real as a real simplified version of it. Um, yeah, and yeah, feel free, guys, to like say, say if any of these like if you have any questions or just you like, hey, this reminds me of this or that or whatever. Definitely, definitely let me know. These, you know, I've never seen these altar rings in any of the books. Those are interesting. I mean, there's a lot in this museum that it's like, I mean, you can only fit so much in a book. So of course they got way more than what I've seen, you know. But
I was thinking the same thing. I thought I saw them. I was thinking those are some kind of like crown or something, But
yeah, they kind of look
I
like
never seen those.
crowns, but it does say it's an altar. So maybe maybe you put the offering in the circle itself, right?
Yeah, it's possible. It could be similar to like the IFA divination boards or something like that.
That's
I'm kind of
that's
curious
an
about the
interesting
size of
connection,
those.
Jabari. Because yes, the divination boards of the Yoruba are circular. So yeah, maybe they lay down some sand there and do the divination. Maybe
Mm.
that is interesting. I'm sorry, Shamari, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was saying I'm kind of curious about the size of like these rings.
We can probably click
Because
into it and check. It might have the info. Occasionally on the left side here, they'll give you some information. Oh, it's in fucking centimeters. Uh, well, anyway, here's the dimensions. Um, I don't feel like translating that into my own thing.
2.5 centimeters per inch.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So for the audience at home, the dimensions are right there. Uh, Curator's comments. Practically nothing. What is this? Brass ring on which are cast 7 human figures, 4 birds, and other objects. Don't you just hate when in books and in museums, their description is just we're just describing what you can see with your own damn eyes.
Yeah, pretty much.
um,
Yeah.
I think sometimes there can be value to that, sometimes, but not always. Like if they have a single photo and like there's something important on the back, then I think a description is useful. I don't know. It all depends. It all depends. And I suppose sometimes they could point out a detail that maybe you miss with your eyes or something. Um, oh yeah, let's go back to the main search. Why did it send me all the way to the bottom?
I do find the museum descriptions do tend to just be very generic. I think it's like a standard operating procedure that they have to adhere to, where they can't be overly detailed. They just kind of give you a basic overview of what you're looking at.
Yeah, and sometimes it's probably that the museum is planning to write a book that they want to sell to you, so that's why they'll keep the online descriptions simple. So
That's true.
here's some ivory tusks. Some of them more sculpted than others. This barely has anything. We'll click into this one because this one looks really sculpted. Yeah, you can see all them people and other things that have been carved in there. Very, very detailed. These are
What did they
massive.
use the tusk for?
Um, so there's
Just
multiple reasons. There's multiple things that I've seen animal horns and elephant tusks used for. Because the first thing that came to mind, I don't remember if elephant tusks are used for this, but uh, some some animal horns are used as side blown horns that you can blow into because they're hollow. I don't think you can do that with ivory though. I don't remember, to be honest. Like there might be one of my books might explain it. See if it says anything here.
I
The description doesn't say crap.
I can't remember the name specifically, but there is a type of carved ivory that's actually used as a record keeping system. So that could be what that's for.
Oh shit, huh? I didn't think I didn't know that. That's interesting.
if I remember correctly, weren't these types of ivory like the relief specifically used to like decorate like shrines and like throne rooms?
Yes, yes. In fact, I'm gonna open my book up to Yeah, you're dead on. Hold on. It's in this book. Hold on. Pretty sure. I used to have like a million bookmarks in this thing. And then I was like, oh, this is getting too cluttered. I should get rid of them all. Alright, so you guys can. Well, my screen is kind of small, isn't it? But. So, on the Benin brass heads, or bronze. Okay, they're called Benin bronzes, but a lot of them are actually made of brass. But anyway, on the heads, on top of them, you can see these elephant tusks, these carved elephant tusks. Can you see that? Did I put it on the camera?
Yeah,
Okay.
can see.
So yeah, so yes, Shamari is exactly correct. It was used in part of shrines. Thank you for reminding me of that. All right. One thing I want to say too, and let's look while I'm saying this. Let's click onto another ivory carving. Why does it always send when I click the back button? It always sends me back to the next one. Um, There's another pretty nice looking one, I think. Look at all that detail, guys. Look at that. Crazy. Now what I was gonna say is, they talk about these days, you know, elephants are endangered and all that. But like Africans were living with elephants for forever, and they weren't endangered. So I just want to make it clear that all the African animals that are endangered due to the globalization, westernization. Because clearly that has to be the case. Because they were living just fine. They weren't endangered until the white people came. So just
It's a
some.
combination. It's two factors. One, a population explosion, so there's more hunters hunting elephants. But another reason is, as you mentioned, westernization, which not only influenced the population boom, but impacted the hunting methods. Guns are a lot better at killing elephants than spears or bows. So
Also, so I'm
So I
not.
said like the industrialization of like process of like transferring ivory, processing it, like it definitely ramps up the demand for the
oh,
resource.
definitely, it's like exponential.
Yeah.
One other thing we could probably say is so, if I remember right, when traditionally when people went ivory hunting, they had to give part of it, at least one of the tusks, to the king. So there was a sort of indigenous regulation back in the day, whereas I don't think things are regulated as well nowadays. Like we think, oh, it's modern times, everything's better regular. No, no. There's a lot of scuzzy shit going on these days. Whereas back in the day, the indigenous people knew how to live with nature a little better, I would say. I don't know if that sounds a little weird, but yeah.
No, I would agree with that. I think it goes for more than just living with nature. I think a lot of like social systems worked out better in like prior to industrialization, where like even certain like social regulations worked better in terms of like being able to like keep a handle on like the community and how much you're taking away from like the natural resources around you.
Mm,
Sustainability
mm.
is the
Yeah,
word.
there you go.
Um, yeah, I think so. These armlets, even more so than the tusks, just look at that detail, the artistry that went into that. That is, that is, that's nuts, man. That's nuts.
Are these all hand carved?
Yes. Yeah, they didn't have
Yeah,
machines.
ivory's
I,
always hand carved.
I can't even imagine like my hands doing this.
Yeah, it's nutty. It's
That's why Benin art is so world renowned, because they do this same level of quality in things that are carved, things that are pasted. It doesn't matter how they do it; they do the same amount of detail.
Must take a
Man.
long time.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Do we know how long it took to produce like one of these bracelets?
I highly doubt the museum has any of that information. Uh, I there's a guy. He died some years ago. He documented. He did some video documentations of actual sculpture work, but not this stuff. So my point is, for certain African things, I'm sure there is documentation for how long it took to make some of these things, but this specifically, no, probably not. Um, the best way I would assume the best way to figure that out, as I was saying to Ken Kwame, I don't know why I used your full name. As I was saying to Ken the other day, um, the British did steal almost all their stuff, but they didn't steal the carvers. So, if you went to Nigeria today, if you could find a traditional carver who learned from his master, you might be able to just ask him that.
And that's the thing.
You
That's
sure
the
they
So,
didn't steal some of the carvers? Because I mean, lots of people were enslaved, so maybe they.
yeah. Some of the carvers
well, they
might have
didn't
been taken
enslave.
too because of enslavement. Yeah. That's
they
a good
didn't
point.
typically like people in those positions were usually like a noble classes and hereditary. Like they wouldn't sell those people off to slavery.
That's true.
Okay.
It was and it usually wasn't people like these kingdoms typically didn't sell their own people. It would be neighboring kingdoms they'd sell people from. And
Mm-hmm.
Benin Benin was never really. I mean, as far as I know, maybe there's exceptions, but as far as I know, Benin wasn't exactly a target of slave raids because they were too powerful. They'd
Oh
really go after
wow.
like smaller villages and things like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The king
What
would
about
really,
prisoners of war and
if it's
such?
a very powerful place like Benin, people, they knew better than to attack somebody who had an army who was going to like, pillage them back. So
Yeah.
Makes
That's a
sense.
good point. Um, yeah. Actually, that's why a lot of African Americans can tie their ancestry to the Igbo because unlike the Benin, who had a king and the Igbo did not, and so remember, Africans didn't have this idea of Pan Africanism back then. So yeah, they would enslave the Benin would take an Igbo people, sell them to the Europeans. So that's an unfortunate truth, but yeah. Um, so yeah, not a lot like Jabari said. Not a lot of Benin, especially not the royals, especially not the important people. Not, most of them would have been safe from being enslaved.
looks like you have a question in the chat.
Oh, I do. What types of tools were used to carve the ivory? Okay, so I don't remember specifically. It's possible I may have read something about that over the years, but the brain's not a perfect computer. But knives, some types of knives, chisels, uh, almost certainly made of iron. This is the Benin Empire. They're not messing around with stone tools no more. Um, so yeah, iron picks and iron knives is almost certainly the answer to that question. Thank you for that question, Kodak Car for it. All right. Let's see. Where's that tab? I'm always missing my tabs. Okay, there we go. All right, back into the British Museum.
I would
Um,
also assume that just based on the quality, like of the carving and the material itself, like I assume these bracelets were like reserved for like nobility and royalty.
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
The common man in the street isn't wearing a bracelet that fancy. No.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
were actually, as I said, these were carved by hereditary guilds that were directly employed by the king himself.
Yo, so
that makes sense.
this one's metal here. I've never seen this in a book. I'm probably misinterpreting this, but that looks like a cyclops, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
But
looks like something that doesn't even give me Benin vibes. That looks like something from like a Celtic tribe of Europe or something. Honestly, like their mythical beasts and stuff like that. The art style in general just looks very different from what I'm used to from Benin.
yeah, my best guess is the person's face is to the side, and that's why we're seeing one eye. So it's almost like an Egyptian thing, where like when an Egyptian art is faced to the side, you still see the eye from the front on view. That would be my best guess as to why it looks that way.
Mm, I'm not seeing it, but who knows?
I meant to
Well,
be,
it's just a guess, so I could be dead wrong.
is it meant to be a person or just a collection of symbols?
I'm pretty sure that was a
Because I can
person.
vaguely see like
Yeah.
the human shape, but
I see the arms and I see the legs, but the head
It
looks just strange.
There is
looks like it's
yeah,
wearing some high heels
there's
too.
another example right here, same kind of thing. I do believe that's meant to be a person and not just a series of symbols.
okay,
Oh wait,
yeah,
actually, that
that's a
one that
bit
you
more
just
clear.
if you could go
Mm.
back down, it was an ivory one.
Oh, sure. Let me backspace out of
Oh
here.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely a person. But it looks like
Yeah,
he's
that was a
standing
bit
to the
more
front, not
intense.
the side.
You said you saw an
Honestly,
ivory one, right? Let me see if I can find that.
it wasn't exactly the same way, but
There's another
it
metal
was.
one right here. I don't think that's what you saw. I don't know. Because you said ivory. I don't see an ivory one.
Oh, right there, right. Slightly down, right below the one that we already looked. That one more scroll down.
Oh, scroll down.
Yes, one more scroll down, and it'll be it's beneath that ivory one that we already looked at.
It's beneath the
It's
ivory.
like right beneath that one. No, yeah, right there. It's I think that's wood actually. Oh no, it is ivory. Okay, it's like that. It's like a
Right.
brownish ivory color. You see it? Oh, you just left it again.
Sorry. The delay is fucking with me.
Oh, so we looked at an ivory coffin initially when we were admiring the intricacy and detail.
Probably
It's
this one.
directly below that. It's directly below that one.
So do you mean this one?
I'll wait for the delay. You know you can disable the delay, right?
How do I
Um,
do that?
it's I can't remember specifically off the top of my head, but it's under your stream control panel. There's like a delay option,
Um.
but anyway, it's like I said, it's directly beneath the ivory one that we already reviewed. It's like a wooden color, but it's ivory as well, and it has looks like somebody's like taking a knee.
Mm.
The head is turned sideways on that one, so I think, but it looks different than the Cyclops one.
Did you mean this thing?
I still don't know yet. You haven't moved.
I think you mean this thing.
Okay, yeah, I think you're at it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it says F 1897 517.
Yeah, 517. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you see the heads turned to the side, and you can see the eye, but it's
Oh
completely
yeah,
different
yeah.
than the
Okay.
Cyclops.
Yes. Okay. Now I see the resemblance. Now. Yeah. 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 Okay.
You have a comment from Soma. Maybe check if there's a description.
Sure. We can check the description. Let's click into it. See what it says.
Probably gonna be the same. Probably gonna be the same generic descriptions we've been looking at.
Probably.
Honestly,
Arm. Okay, the description says made of elephant ivory, cylindrical in form, figures carved all around surface, depicts figures in European clothing, on horseback, standing European figures, and
oh,
seated leopards. Surface has irregular deep color. So,
it is definitely
thing
is a
with
European on a
this, you
horse.
might, some of the people watching right now might be like, why would the hell would they carve anything European related? So the Benin, they were first contacted by the Portuguese, and the Portuguese, to not to other Africans, but to the Benin, the Portuguese were actually pretty good to the Benin. So they would sometimes the Benin would honor the Portuguese in their artwork. So, and this probably won't be the only time we see like a European depicted in Benin art. Keep in mind, it was the British that stole all the Benin shit, not the Portuguese.
Although there are artifacts in many European museums around the world, including Netherlands, Germany, and the U.S. I think the Pitt Rivers Museum in the U.S. is one of the ones most notorious for having Benin art.
Yeah, not to be clear, the British were not the only people that stole. French stole stuff, Germans stole stuff. I'm sure the Portuguese stole some stuff from other Africans, not necessarily the Benin, but all the Europeans who came to colonize, they stole stuff. You know, none of them Europeans are innocent. Um,
Of course, but Benin art specifically, what I'm saying is even if like let's just say the Dutch didn't directly walk into Benin and steal stuff, they still do have stuff in their collections either through trade or sale from the British or private collectors, etc., etc.
yeah, the
They have
British
large collections.
The British actually gave a lot of the Benin art to other museums around the world as well. In Washington, D.C., in our own country, you go to the African Art Museum, you'll see plenty of Benin stuff there. And that's from that same historical looting that the British did, and the British just gave some of it to America.
There is some good news though. So there is a museum currently under construction. I think it'll be finished next month if I remember correctly, and if the timeline is correct, it's called the West African Museum of Art, being built in Benin City. and it's going to actually be built to resemble a lot of the traditional architecture and art styles of pre-colonial Benin. And basically, one of
Nice.
the main reasons why the British won't return the art is because they're saying that they don't have a place to protect and preserve it, climate control, etc., etc. So that's why they won't. That's their reason for not giving it back. So this Museum of West African Art should solve that problem.
Mm.
The ridiculous thing about that is that if they really cared, they would help to build such a place.
Agreed. I agree.
Sure.
Not to mention it's their own art, so even if it wasn't protected
All
or
right.
preserved, that's their choice.
Exactly.
If I want to chuck my computer out the window, that's my choice. I paid for it.
Where I built it.
Exactly.
Uh, so for another artwork here, we have these bronze leopards. I bet Jabari has seen these before, but one thing that he and I haven't, I must have skipped past this one, not even noticed. They got a bronze goat here, or sheep, something like that. Never seen this one before. Have you, Jabari?
The bronze greatest of all time? I don't think so.
That took me a moment. Yeah. Um, so the leopard. One thing I want to say about leopards. Here in the West, we're taught, oh, the lion is the king of the jungle. That is just some European crap. The king of the jungle is the leopard, and you will see leopards depicted more often in Africa than lions. Lions do sometimes show up, though, occasionally. The Dahomey uh, use lion iconography, though I read somewhere that they might have just done that because they sort of like got into that with trade from Europe. So, is that true? I don't know. But point is, the leopard is actual king of the jungle.
So it looks like someone said the museum in Benin City is actually being built in partnership with the British Museum, so they actually are helping. Interesting.
Oh,
That's good
nice.
to know.
Oh, cool.
That's good.
Um,
That's at
Funny thing
least
with the
some
lion,
form of reparations.
Agreed. And it shows that they're serious about returning the stuff if the conditions are right. They're
Mhm.
helping make sure the overseeing the conditions being right. So that
Mm-hmm.
shows they're being honest and genuine.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's good.
Took them long enough though.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna click on. They probably won't tell me anything, but I'm gonna click onto this. I want to read the description just in case there's something. Aquamarine lost wax cast in brass in form of standing ram, hollow cast with small opening on top of the head. Ah, so it's
I
like
think
some
I've seen
kind of
this.
vessel.
I've seen this one. Yeah, it's a water container.
Why is the
That's
You
image
cool.
lift
not
the
showing?
you
There
lift
it
the
is. All right, that image
you
looks
lift the
cool.
tail and tilt it to serve the water, if I remember correctly.
Fantastic.
Like the tail's the handle.
Hmm. Oh, I'm glad I read that description then. See, sometimes the description actually has something worth a damn. Uh,
Yeah. So I think if the water
Yeah.
comes out of the mouth and then the tail's the handle, so you like lift the tail and tilt the mouth towards the cup or whatever.
mm,
Yeah, going back to what you mentioned about the lion in like African cultures, I've actually seen more representation for lions as like analogous to like sexuality and like virility, rather than any type of like royalty in like African stories and mythology. Like, for instance, like a lot of African stories when they mention like someone being a lion man, it's usually like in reference to his like beauty or like his like virility.
mm. I
Yeah,
think.
I
Go ahead.
the leopard actually just recently discussed that in one of my more recent videos. You see leopards extensively throughout the West African forest region, particularly Benin. In fact, they even kept tame leopards in the king's court,
Mm-hmm.
like actual
Mm.
living adult leopards on leashes, paraded around the king.
Yeah, that
And it
whole
was basically
historical artwork shows leopards in parade with the rest of the royalty. You know which one I'm
yeah,
talking about, right?
and yeah, basically like the leopard was looked at as the king of the jungle, not the lion.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the king or Oba's control over the leopard was seen as a symbol of his power over everything, over the realms of man and the realms of wild animals. That was the symbol. That was what the leopard, his control over the leopard symbolized.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, um, I'm probably the least knowledgeable here, but this makes me think of the leopard people. So shows how important they are.
Yeah, and it's also similar to how like the Aztecs, they had the same viewpoint on jaguars. It's
Mhm.
basically like if the king was the king of the leopards or jaguars in their case, then he was the king of the animals. And if
Mm.
they say king of kings. If you're a king of kings, you're an emperor, and if you're the king of animals, then you're their emperor too.
Mhm.
Ken, can you expand on
If I
what you were
remember
saying
correctly,
about the leopard people there?
Yeah, so the leopard people was a secret society. I'm not sure if it still exists. It's a secret society in Western and Central Africa.
I think it's
Um,
Ekapor. I think it's what's called.
yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I only know about it because of a series of books by Nedia Corafor. So
Hmm. Um, I wonder if that's linked to the Senefu at all, because that's making me think of their. Actually, no. What I'm thinking of is a panther thing. Did you
mm,
guys know?
Yeah,
I should. This is spoiling something that I want to do for a future video. There is a panther mask, so there is a real Black Panther, so to speak. Um, I'll show that in a video one day. So spoiler alert,
aren't
that's a real thing. Um,
aren't leopards panthers?
what's that?
Sorry to cut you off, but
Yes, leopards
aren't
are
leopards like
panthers.
panthers?
A
yeah,
panther
leopards are
yeah.
is
panthers, lions are panthers,
A
tigers
panther
are
Yeah,
is
panthers.
it's a generic term for
it's a
big cats
big cat.
besides lions and tigers.
yeah. Basically any big cat that has more melanin than the average big cat is a panther.
Mm,
And lions and tigers can't get. I forgot the name of the specific term, but it's basically the opposite of being albino. And leopards, tigers, and lions can't really get that, or well, it's incredibly rare in
mm,
those, but it's very common in leopards, jaguars, and stuff like that. So
yeah, the term is melanated.
no, it's a specific term similar to being
Huh?
albino. It's not just melanated is like a generic term for being dark, but it's
Okay.
like you're born with your body's born producing way more than it should produce. Just like albinism, you're producing way less melanin than you should produce. I forgot the specific term.
By the way, so as we were explaining before, so these really intricate armlets would have been for royalty. I don't know if that's the case for these more simpler armlets. These might be more like an armlet for the common person, you know? Because I don't know if the screen is refreshed for you, but there's like some very simpler looking armlets. So maybe those could be common person's armlet.
I looked
So
online. It says
apparently
it's
the word,
melanistic.
yeah,
Melanistic.
I was gonna say that.
Melanism, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. Ah, Thomas said it.
Let's now move to the second page because literally we're still on page one and there's many other pages. Uh, and yeah, we're still on the letter A, so we're still looking at armlets. Some are
I
very
don't know if I'd
complex,
be
some are a lot simpler.
looking. I don't know if I'd be comfortable looking at the Jamaican stuff. I would just get upset
What Jamaican stuff?
because there's Jamaican stuff in the British Museum too. So I don't think I'd be comfortable looking through if the Jamaican stuff. I would just get upset.
All right, fair enough. I'll keep that in mind. Let's see.
The way I see it, actually, the Oba of Benin said this himself. It's kind of a good thing because if it weren't for that, then the world wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, that
Hmm,
is.
that's a good point.
I have heard that the current OBA is okay with Benin stuff being overseas because it helps people learn about that. I don't. I wonder if the Benin people as a whole share that same opinion, though. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody's going to have different opinions, so that's something you can avoid. But my thing is, I do think it should be their choice. That's the part I don't agree with. It shouldn't have been stolen. It should definitely be their choice whether they want to keep it there or not. However, I do agree with his sentiment that it helps them. It's not all 100% bad. It's good in that way. So I do agree with that.
Well, what I will
Yeah.
say, so because I am in America and I have been to Washington D.C., it is very unfair to the black people of the world that me, a weird white guy, can just see the Benin stuff in person, and so many black people cannot. Most black people are gonna have to look through the internet like we're looking right now, whereas I've seen it with my own eyes, and that's very unfair.
I agree. And fortunately, as I said, there's been a lot of international pressure to return things. I think Germany and the Netherlands have already returned all their art. Actually, just this year, I forgot which country, but another European country returned all of their Benin pieces to Nigeria. So they are slowly but surely getting all this stuff
Wow,
finally.
that's good.
Yeah. And the British Museum, as I mentioned, their condition is a good home for them, that like climate controlled, etc., etc. So, and they have the largest of all the collections. So that would be huge once that happens.
Yeah,
I
well,
hope there's
yeah.
future for us
Speaking of
in
climate
Jamaica.
control, like nowadays, like, because I remember hearing some people saying, "Oh, we can't return it to Africa because of the conditions." But like, if you build a museum and get your AC in there or whatever, it'll be fine in Africa. Like, but that is part of the reason why so much African art is lost over the centuries because Africa is a harsh climate and has destroyed a lot of stuff over the ages. So,
Especially where Benin is located in the rainforest. Like I actually just traveled to Nigeria early this May, and as a man born and raised in Florida, Florida summers, that's basically how it feels there all year. I
though,
mean, it does have dry season or whatever, but it's still just very muggy. And if even if they did have like writing systems and books and stuff, they would not have lasted more than like 100 years. I can guarantee it.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It depends on the material. Like, if they had paper, for example, gone. But the Benin bronzes, the big fucking deal that most people usually talk about, are made of bronze. They last. They when they dug up some of the there and I'm going to Yoruba for a sec. There's Yoruba stuff known as the Ife art that had lasted hundreds of years before the white people found it. So,
Definitely,
you
they
know,
developed like an oxidated, unlike iron that rusts away, like eats away from the outside in, and eventually turns into dust. And copper objects, alloys, they develop an oxidized patina, like that green stuff, like the same stuff that makes the Statue of Liberty
yeah,
green.
the green
They
stuff
develop
that I
that
have
on the
on screen
outside.
right now, actually.
Yeah, they develop that, and it just kind of stops there and protects. It's like a layer of protective paint, so it doesn't really the oxygen can't make its way in.
Yep.
It stabilizes basically.
Hmm.
Speaking of it, what the hell am I
Interesting.
even looking at here? It just labeled as artifact. Artifact lost wax cast in copper alloy in the form of a hollow tube decorated with three continuous wavy lines running down. Oh, like the snake that used to run down the turrets of the palace. Uh, yeah, so that's probably related to that. So those are some kind of snake forms. I still don't know what this artifact was intended for, but it's related to the snake. Python,
Honestly,
right?
honestly, I'm not sure specifically what snake it is, but honestly, when it comes to all these little pieces that I see that I have no idea what they're for, I always try to look at the Benin armor and try to find because
Mm,
some of the items I have found, like all when you look at the Benin armor, like 90% of it, you don't know what it is. So a
mm,
lot of these drawings, people just kind of guess, or they just make it to this big hunk of patterned leather or something. But a lot of these are like charms and bells and tassels and things like that. So
for sure.
I
So
think
my question
sometimes
would
it's good to
be,
compare it.
is it that the Benin people themselves don't know is that these are just so ancient that they have lost the history, or is it that the British Museum just never cared to ask?
I think it might be a combination of hoarded knowledge and forgotten knowledge. I think it might be a combination of both. Some
Mm.
of the stuff, like I notice as an African history YouTuber, there's some things I've talked about in my videos, not trying to like brag or anything, but some things I talk about in my videos that I feel like I'm probably like the first person to really talk about them publicly
Mm.
because the information's there. It's just not brought together and consolidated into one place. It's hoarded by like maybe one person sitting in the back of a dusty museum.
Mm.
Yeah. By the way, so sometimes I like to imagine what certain modern things would look like if in Africa if they were made in traditional ways. And look at this bag right here. Like, just that. Like, imagine if you had a backpack, your school backpack. Imagine if it looked like that. This amazing, like, blue, yellow, red patterning going on there. Like, just, it's interesting to think about. Because, like, so, what I'm about to say applies to some Afro sci fis and not all. Some Afro sci fis do this well, some don't. But, like, I feel like some of the people that make these things don't take enough time to like look at the old school African art in order to more naturally develop what the African future should look like. You know what I mean?
Agreed, agreed.
I
And
agree.
honestly,
$100% agree.
I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying before, the information hoarding. So if you wanted to look up, if you want to make like something that's truly based on ancient Germany, for example, you will be able to just check out 2 or 3 books or something, and have all the information you need. But with African stuff, there's little bits and pieces and tidbits on old PDFs from like the '60s, and you got to search through like a million different sources to get a decent amount of information for just one little thing. I think that's the problem.
Mm.
And I think that's why
No,
what we're all doing collectively is important because we're collecting all that information and bringing it together into one place for people to learn from.
Mhm.
So I
I
don't know
think
if you
you're
screen.
100% right on that, Jabari.
What was that?
I'm saying I think you're 100% right on that, Jabari, because like, for me, as someone who writes, African-inspired fantasy, like the research that I do, it's very difficult to like really capture um, very minute, like specific things. But one of the things I had the most difficult time finding was just like honorifics. Like how we say, sir, ma'am, like
Oh
things
yeah,
like that. Like how you know, like African peoples would address each other, like
yeah.
uh,
That's one thing I noticed when I was there in Nigeria is a sign of respect for an older non-relative um, would be uncle and aunt. Like
mm,
yeah, it's really really interesting. And I noticed the same in like China too. I've never been
yeah,
to China, but I know they do the exact same thing in China. So I actually saw a Nigerian YouTuber go to China, and he felt right at home because people already do that there. They say uncle and aunt. So
interesting.
yeah.
So the thing I have highlighted here in the description, it quite literally says it's a spatula, right? Spatulate, whatever the fuck. It's a type of spatula, I guess. And yeah, just look at all the detail that goes into this common item, a spatula. And like think
Cool
about
spatula.
how like how much more beautiful these African sci-fis could be if they took this sort of stuff into account. The little things matter. The little things matter a lot, you know?
Yeah, yeah, like, especially when you're a hereditary guild employed by the king.
Hmm.
So, and
Um,
I
I
like
think
what Soma mentioned, like the loss of textiles and stuff, because these massive textile industries and stuff. Because a lot of, even today, a lot of the stuff that we do, like the idea of printing fabrics, for example, that's something that Europeans didn't even like think of at all until they started trading with Africans and Asians. Before they all were like plain colors, where they had to like go through some process of dyeing one side or the other, but having actual prints, stable prints that didn't wash out. That's something they didn't really know at the time.
I'm guessing this is just a lid for pottery or something, but it's still nice
for a second I thought it was a hat.
looking. Yeah, it does kind of look like that. You know, before I go to move us to the next page, I will say this this is a little like to some extent it does share the same style, but it does have its own kind of style that's also a little different, in my opinion. Made of wood, cylinder, flat. Yeah, it's not really saying. The description isn't really teaching much, but some kind of vessel. Um, all right, let's move on to the next page. We've been on page 2 long enough. Let's see what page 3 has in store for us.
Yeah, seeing all these like little smaller household effects like the spatula you just showed, like I I think if you gathered all of these like smaller items, like it would be a really great backdrop for like a video game. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I think that'd be one of the best mediums to really showcase all these like smaller items, like you really fill out a more detailed world.
Yeah, exactly. Now we need to stop.
Yeah.
We need to stop here for a sec because I need to clarify something. It's probably on your screen now. When in the British Museum search, I searched Benin. What they're
Oh,
showing me
yep.
right now is a thing from the Republic of Benin, which is why I really get annoyed that that country took the name Benin. It's so annoying. Jabari, you want to explain this?
Yeah, I actually explained it in my most recent video. So you'll probably notice this a lot in other people's videos and blog posts and everything. You'll see images from the Republic of Benin being used as placeholders for the Kingdom of Benin, but the Republic of Benin is actually in a completely different area. It was the people who controlled that were the Fon people who built the Dahomey Kingdom, whereas the Benin Empire existed in what is now Nigeria. So the only reason why the modern day country took the name Benin is because that body of water that they both share is called the Bight of Benin, similar to how the Gulf of Mexico, despite being mostly around the U.S., is called the Gulf of Mexico, or until Trump, of course, it was
Yeah.
called the Gulf of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully that'll get switched back in the next administration. But so yeah. So this basically is what we're looking at is from a completely different culture, the Dahomey culture. And this one's actually in that same book I showed you. Well, not this specific one, I don't think, but I could explain it. It's if I remember right, that's a war god that's depicted on that cloth. Um, did they have any cloths like this in the Woman King film? They might have. That's from that same culture, from that movie.
I don't, I don't think I've seen anything like that specifically. I think the closest thing to, or the only real major cloth items I saw in the Woman King were like their flags
Yeah. Let
and
me
war banners.
I'm pretty sure it's in this book. I only have. I thought I had more than one book. Okay, I thought I had more books over here for this conversation, but yeah, I'm not gonna bring my whole. This one is a really convenient one, so I'm scrolling through this one. I'm quite sure. Ah, here it is. Um. So yeah, this is some kind of war god. I'll read the description in a second, but I want to show it to you guys first. But you can see the resemblance, right?
As soon as the stream catches up, maybe.
As soon as the stream catches up. And what you'll
Oh yeah,
notice is
definitely.
Oh, yep.
you'll notice he's holding a gun. Yes, Africans did have guns. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes they made their own guns. I think Jabari taught me that one.
Yep, I actually made a video specifically about that topic,
Yeah.
including Benin. Since we're on the top, Benin, they actually made their own guns as well. It was always cheaper. It was always cheaper and more economical to buy guns from Europeans, but they did reorganize local blacksmiths who previously made swords and spears to make guns instead. It just wasn't on a big enough scale to be self-sufficient.
Mm. Uh,
They even make cannons as well.
oh, and because my book isn't a shitty museum site, this description will actually be insightful. So I'll read it to you guys. The composition depicts Dag Dagesu. I probably didn't pronounce that right, but whatever. I'm an American. Degesu, a life-size sculpture of a lightning-spitting ram empowered by the god of thunder. Yeah, Africans got their own gods of thunder. Anyway, and that god of thunder is Hevesio. Hevesio? Something like that. Which was brought onto the field of battle to promote the. Wait, is the god's name Degesu or Hevesio? I'm not sure. I don't know. Sometimes when I'm reading out loud, it's hard for me to like fully like click it into my head. You know what I mean? Anyway, uh, shit, where was I? Which was brought into the field of battle to promote military success and protect the troops. Thunder and lightning were compared in this area to the sound and flashes of rifle fire. Around Degesu's neck is a bell alluding to the psychological importance of noise in battle. To small bottle-shaped gourds containing powerful protective medicines are tied to the figure's arms. Positioned around the sculpture are a troop of Dahomey warriors, here shown victorious over the Yoruba, indicated by their facial marks. In keeping with Dahomey artistic traditions, the skin pigment of the Dahomey troop is shown to be red, the color not only of blood and but also not only of blood and danger, but also of royalty and sacred Vodun. And yes, Vodun is related to voodoo, if you're wondering. All right.
Voodoo is basically like a kind of syncretized version of Odun.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Let's see. And yeah, for if there's any normies watching, voodoo is not some cult or anything like. It's a perfectly fine religion that was demonized by the French because the Haitians kicked the French asses, and so they spread this disinformation. So there you
Have
go.
you ever seen the movie? Have you ever seen the movie Waterboy, where everything is the devil? That was the general viewpoint towards anything that didn't follow the Bible back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that's probably the best description you can give Jabari.
I do remember, like vaguely, because I was real young, but I do remember that film. Yeah.
I mean, that's people still subconsciously or sometimes actively view these things that way. Like my dad, for example, I was just telling him about my wife. She's Nigerian. I was telling him about like her people's traditional beliefs. Bear in mind, people in her region are very, very Christian nowadays. Not gonna get into that or why that's the case, but I was just simply telling my dad about their traditional beliefs, and that's it. And he just like immediately was like, I don't want to hear about any other gods. So I'm just like, I had to explain to him like that. Like, I'm not trying to convert you or anything. I don't believe in those gods or anything. I'm just talking to you about them. That's it. Like, we can have a conversation about it. So he just got very defensive about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that reminds me of when the last earthquake hit Haiti, and pastors were making all kind of statements about them that being judgment from God because they were
oh
demon
my god,
worshippers and all kind of stuff. Oh my God.
wow. Well, see, if that's the case, per capita, sub-Saharan Africa has more Christians, like more serious, devout Christians and Muslims in the northern parts than anywhere in the West. So if that was the case, then why are these countries in Africa doing so poorly economically, peace, like militarily? If that was the case, that's the way I see it. So people just it's confirmation bias, really. I'm not trying to knock anybody's religions, but I'm just saying confirmation bias kind of clouds judgment and reason,
Oh,
Exactly.
regardless if it's in the
Yeah,
context
you're
of religion
exactly
or not.
right.
speaking of Christianity, this sound I just learned about in a new book of mine. Um, so at the point that of history I'm about to mention, I don't think the book is suggesting that West Africans had converted to Christianity yet, but before white people came, it does seem like West Africans knew about Christianity due to trade from with East Africa, and I'll get in
Mm.
more into that historical trade with East Africa. I'll get more into that in like a future video, but it's just an interesting thing I literally just read about not too long ago. So fascinating detail.
Yeah,
Well,
actually, I think I
they
remember reading
were
somewhere
African,
that
right?
the Muslim libraries in like Timbuktu, they had like they actually uncovered translations of the Bible in those libraries. So, but
Yeah.
I think it's less surprising for the Muslims to be aware of Christianity though than for the as they would call quote unquote pagan peoples. That'll be a bit more surprising. By the way, real quick comment on these bells. This is one of those objects I mentioned how like you look at the armor, you see all these things, you don't know what they are, but you can find little bits and pieces throughout the museum. Those bells, you can often find those, more specifically the more polygonal ones towards the top,
Yeah,
or that one on
the
like
box shaped ones
those
are
ones.
parts of the armor.
Yeah, those more like trapezoidal ones.
Yeah,
Is that trapezoid? Those ones you'll find in the center of the chest in a lot of Benin plaques.
yeah, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's a reason why Jabari wants to emphasize those. Anyway, secrets for later. Anyway, you guys will find out. Um, but yeah, on the topic of these bells, so I want you guys to notice. Now you know how I said sometimes the Benin would depict the Portuguese. So some of the faces on these bells are African Benin people. Some of them are Portuguese, and I'm gonna basically explain how you spot the Waldo that is the Portuguese people. Basically, when you find this one, or whenever your thing refreshes, when you find a face that has like a long hair and often like a little swoop at the end, that is a Portuguese face.
A very skinny mustache too is pretty. Mustache and beard is pretty common as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, they pay a lot of attention to the detail with the noses. Like, kind of like if you see a lot of early art from Portuguese in Japan, you'll notice that they make the eyes massive and the nose is also massive. And the eye difference isn't really much of a thing between Europeans and Africans. So they didn't. In Benin art, you won't really see a difference in the eyes, but the nose is just like with the Japanese. They'll usually make them very, very massive and really skinny.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a
Usually,
very
this
clear. It's
Portuguese face has a
that
very,
alone.
very flat nose, but that might just be the style on that one. But yes, I think you're right for the most part. And you
Well, you
have
can
to
see how
keep in mind
skinny it
every
is.
individual artist does have their own touch.
Yeah, well, this is a bell, so it has a generally flat profile, like in general. But if you look, like the nose is like a really narrow, long, skinny line.
That's true.
But when you see the African faces portrayed, it's not like that.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so all throughout, like, so this one is an African face, and let's see, where was let's keep scrolling down. This one clearly African face right there. Um, I wonder if this is like a very abstracted, simplified Portuguese thing because the symbol looks like the hair, but I might be overthinking that one. I don't know. But let's see. But yeah, most of the ones I'm seeing are African faces, but there are a few that are Portuguese. Um, like this one, that's another Portuguese one, side by side on the right side. Actually, on both sides. So whenever it refreshes, you'll see in the middle one is a Portuguese face, and on the both sides you'll see two African faces. Though this African guy does have like a swoopy thing here, but I'm pretty sure that one's African.
Those actually look kind of like snakes, or well, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that could be snakes. That one, yeah, that's possible. Um,
I think that one is Portuguese. They didn't do the whole nose thing I mentioned, but you can see the beard, the long beard, and the Portuguese helmet, like the ones that the Spanish conquistadors wore.
yeah, you're probably right. That one probably is also Portuguese. So the one on the left though is African, and let me zoom in on the let me click into the African one so you can get a better view of this because it was zoomed out. So this one very clearly has the marks above the eyes, those marks that indicate the ethnic affiliation. Yeah, so you can see that's a very um, Africanoid face. That's a technical term. I know it sounds weird, but Africanoid is meant to like delineate race, pretty much. There's
Basically,
there's Caucasoid for white people, because we're a bunch of cocks, and Mongoloid for Asia. That Mongol coming from Mongolia. That's why they call it Mongoloid. I forget what weird ass oid they gave for Native Americans, but
it was Americoid. But I mean, these are all very outdated terms. They don't have any reliable scientific base, especially when it comes to places like Africa, because the genetic diversity is so immense that it's like why that whole argument that Ethiopians and Somalia are actually Caucasoid, for example, but they're more genetically related to other Africans. So these terms are very outdated,
they
and
are.
they're just honestly, I've used them in some of my older videos, and when I look back, I cringe. Like I'm actually thinking about putting those videos on private because
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
remember back when I was in high school, my teacher said they're outdated and they're kind of offensive, so don't use them. I was like, really?
yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I did hesitate when I was saying them, but I was just like, well, I'm on this path already, so.
Oh no, I'm not like saying it to like call you out or anything. It's so widespread that people say it harmlessly, but it just doesn't really have any real good
Science.
basis.
To be fair,
Even with
and you're
like
exactly right, because realistically, there's more races in Africa than the rest of the world, genetically speaking. If you go into DNA,
combined.
so
Hmm.
all these words are kind of stupid, but I do want to say, Africaoid is kind of politically correct because there used to be a worse word that I will never say. I bet your Mari
Negroid.
knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Negroid.
There's also Congoid. Um, but I think it's actually the term that you're thinking of. By the way, is Africoid. I don't think it's Africanoid. I think it's just Africoid.
Oh, you might be right.
But yeah, like as I said, I mean, you go down see the Khoisan people, they're gonna be completely different. You look in West Africa, completely different. North Africa, like there's just so many. There's people who look Asian. There's people who look European. There's people who look like something in between. There's just so
Hmm.
much variation. That's why
Blonde hair,
that
blue eyes.
yeah, like in North Africa,
Yeah.
like you see, you also got people who are like as black as charcoal, but they have those long aquiline noses like Europeans, and like chiseled jaws like Germans. So it's just a lot of variation. My wife actually, for example, when we got married, the priest he said if you look at these two and we told you that one of them was American and the other one was Nigerian, you probably get it wrong because she because when you look at her, her skin's like a lot lighter than mine. Like just her general physical features are a lot less stereotypically African than mine, even
Yeah,
though I'm American. So
yeah, those I shouldn't. It's not for me to say